to do today is give everybody who wasn't able to attend the workshop a sneak peek into it, give you a little insight into our timing and our rollout plan, and I also plan on jumping into our development system and giving you a look into the actual screens and the functionality. So let's get started. So a little background on why we're embarking on a UI refresh. Here at Kronos, we really understand the need to keep up with the user demand for modernized, up-to-date experiences, not just on the user interface, but across the product as a whole. How does somebody start to learn about the product? How does somebody use it for the first time? How does an expert user learn even more about it? There's a new push in the IT space for consumerized, more modern experiences. We know that everybody's coming into the workplace with experiences that they might not have had 5, 10, 15 years ago. Everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody has some sort of tablet they're used to using, you know, their cool apps in their personal life, whether it be for collaboration, staying up to date with family, whether it's for planning vacations. Everybody's sort of coming into the workplace with these experiences, and there's this demand that their workplace products, their time and attendance, their payroll, which is what we're focused on, that these products will be as easy to use as the products they use in their day-to-day life. We had been hearing that quite a bit from UR partners, quite a bit from the market in general. So we knew that there was a need for us to dive into our UI architecture and start to update it. We wanted to be a bit more cognizant and a bit more intensive in our project. So we went through a 3-phased approach for this UI refresh, where phase 1 was a pretty deep set of research activities. We went out and we interviewed many users and even prospects and competitive product users to understand what are they looking for in a system. What are their experiences with other systems? We spoke to stakeholders to understand, you know, when they're out there selling it, what are they hearing it? We spoke to you, our partners, when you're supporting your clients, when you're out selling to new clients, what are you hearing about the product? We had a pretty intensive session there. We brought all that data back in and did a pretty immersive session on that, and then identified a set of findings, prioritized findings from that report that we wanted to make sure we hit, not only in this first UI refresh phase, but even possibly down the road as we head into other phases, as we get a little bit even deeper into the usability of the product. Based on that findings report, we then jumped into creating some visual models. We worked through some wireframes, some interactive elements. We actually built out a prototype, a working prototype, rather than jumping right into the code with some of our thoughts. We prototyped it. We actually went out to a set of you guys, a set of beta partners, and got feedback on that. And then from there, we actually kicked off our intensive development of the UI refresh. So some of the recommendations and some of the feedback from the interviews that we did is that SaaS HR is a powerful tool. Partners and customers and users alike loved the broad base of functionality and the powerful functionality that was in the system. Where they really struggled with how that functionality actually was used on a day-to-day basis. How do I get somebody up to speed on learning this functionality? How do I go out and sell to a set of prospective clients and not overwhelm them with all of the information and the functionality that is available? So we wanted to then take a step back and understand how might we be able to ease up some of that information overload, and how might we shift towards a more easily understood, cohesive UI. So that was our number one thing that we wanted to work on. Number two was the complexity of the navigation system. So how you traverse through the system, how you identify the pages that you want to navigate to, the cascading menus that we have in the system today presented a significant challenge for some of our early users or some of our less sophisticated users. That was something we pretty much saw across the board. Everybody had some struggles with. And then the third bullet there, simplifying the interface. So that is, how can we show the user what they need to see while they're executing a given task without overwhelming them with peripheral information they may not need to see at the moment. Making sure lesser used tasks, buttons and activities are just sort of pushed to the background a bit so that they can focus on the immediate task at hand. Those were some of our main directives that we were working on as we thought about this refresh. So based on these recommendations, based on the prioritized list, we jumped into a visual redesign. This was sort of our first step. How might we take the existing product, which in all honesty was looking quite a bit dated, the rounded corners and the very complex icons, the graduated shadows, all of that was adding visual complexity to the screens, which was almost crowding the information a bit. We wanted to streamline the visual design. We wanted to make it flatter, crisper, bring in a little bit more white space without causing too much scrolling. You know, that's always a balance there. We looked across many competitive products. We looked at what's the current sort of trend in the UI space today. Didn't want to go too trendy, obviously didn't want to go too much into what all the apps are out there, but we wanted to be able to bring a nice, crisp, clean set of visual elements to our product. So you'll see that when I jump into the demo, and you'll also see it on some of the screenshots on these next few slides. Before I jump into the live product, I just wanted to highlight a few things that you'll see as you go through the demo, things to pay attention to. So navigation, I mentioned that was one of the first things that we wanted to work on, that complex navigation system with the cascading menus. We've now redesigned that. We have a dedicated space for navigation that you'll see with very clear delineations between the different nodes of the navigation, very clean ways you can select the different nodes and traverse across your different options in the navigation. So we do not have that hovering to display the next node, which we have now. So you're not going to get that disappearing and reappearing cascading menu that you have now. The dashboards you'll see have been cleaned up. All of the functionality, all of the configurations that you guys have on your dashboards for all your clients remain, not changing any of that functionality, but you can see it's a crisper, cleaner look and feel, new icons, some reorganized menu actions, etc., from within the dashboard widget. The reports have been reorganized and consolidated a bit. I think it's better to actually show you this when I jump into the actual demo. But you can see here the reports are looking a lot cleaner, a lot easier to focus your eye on the actual data in the report that you're looking at. I'll dive into where some of the actions are, where some of the settings are now once we get into the demo. And our forms, so employee profile pages, timesheet pages, etc. All of those have had the new look and feel and the new button images and the new icons applied to them as well. Again, not any significant changes in functionality whatsoever, otherwise just a few changes on where the actions are, et cetera, but no functionality changes. All the timesheet profiles work as they do today, et cetera. So let me jump into the demo. So I am logged into our demo system right now. This is actually a live development system, so there could be a few quirks here and there, perhaps a few icons that aren't completely updated, but we thought it was important to give all of you a sneak peek and a pretty good detailed sneak peek into what the system is looking like. So we're showing you this development system here, and hopefully it behaves and acts responsibly. So we're on Kathy Watt's dashboard page. A few things to call out. Here you can see our top bar here, which has our logo and our company name. All the logos are still configurable. You can upload your client's logos. You can still edit the look and feel of this. I'll dive into that page in a little bit because we've had a lot of questions on that from different partners. So I'll dive into that and show you exactly how that functionality works. Right across the top, you get all of your user actions that you had before and navigating in and out between your different client systems, your different companies. To-dos are now right up here in this little bell icon with the 66. Let me just show you what that looks like. So when you click on that bell icon, you now get your report with all of your to-do items. Buttons are right in line with the to-do action. You can approve it or reject it. You can still open up the workflow or edit the item right in place. So all of that's pretty much retained as it was. Let me jump back to the home page. The next bar down is our navigation bar. So a couple of changes here. Right over here on the left-hand side, you'll see our start button. And what that is the redesigned start widget. I know not all of you are using the start widget that's currently available in the system now, but we had a lot of feedback from the folks who were using it that they found it extremely helpful. So what this widget is and what this new start menu is a place for you to go in and configure a set of custom categories. You can see here we have 4: recruitment, employee maintenance, edit time, and run payroll. So 4 different categories that we've defined, and then a set of navigation links displayed right underneath those categories. So this is a way for you to set up very streamlined navigation options for your clients. And again, this can be set up via profiles, so you could have a different set of start menu navigation items for your employees versus your HR managers versus your payroll admins. But we've had a lot of feedback that this has been really, really well received from our customers and from our partners. So we took it out of the dashboard, we took it up out of a separate widget and brought it up here into the navigation bar so that it's accessible from anywhere in the system. Previously, if you wanted to use one of the links on that start widget, if you were, say, on an employee profile page, you would have to navigate back to the dashboard and then select on another link from that start widget. But from now, you can see from anywhere in the system, you can just click the start button. It opens up and you can navigate there. Let me just close that up. So the navigation menu is right here at the top, so you can click on any of these top level items and the next level navigation item pops in. You can mouse over those. They do not change when you mouse over them like they do now. You have to click on it and then the next level opens up. And again, you can navigate and scroll through that next level. I'll just show you a couple of different ways you can navigate. If it's a really long item, you get a very small scroll bar. I don't know if you guys can see that in the GoToMeeting. But that is the new navigation. You can actually leave that up now if you want. If you're trying to access or trying to identify where a set of reports might be, you can actually leave that up and go back and forth between the different options and then close it up after you found your item, or obviously once you've navigated to the item you want. Once you click on it, it will bring you to that page. Since this is a demo system, I have quite a few menu items up here at the top. For some admins who may have a significant amount of navigation items, it is possible to actually scroll back and forth through them. But based on our testing, we think about 99% of the folks will have all of those menu items available to them without having to scroll. Just wanted to show that to you, since I know many of you will have more complex systems than the average end user. Navigation is still right over here. I'm sorry, search is still right over here on the right, and you can use that just as you do now. So look and feel is one of the things that you can look for. I'll click on it, and you immediately get brought to that page. Let me just jump back to the home page. So that's our navigation. We've had pretty good feedback on this. We've had some beta customers testing it. We've had a lot of the services and QA folks testing it in-house, and we've had some pretty positive feedback on that. Let's dive down into the dashboard now. So dashboard widgets, as you can see, have been redesigned with a new frame, a new set of icons to be able to access the different configurations for that widget. You can see the little gear here opens up any of the widget controls that you might have for that given widget. Obviously, as you could before, you can collapse and expand it. And then the widget itself displays as it did now. You can have reports in there. You can have your announcements. All of the existing widgets that you had today will come in and simply have the new look and feel attached to them. I'll just jump through just a few other dashboard examples that we have set up on this page, on this demo company, just so you can see them. What you see on this one is the attendance board. So that was previously the dot board. We got significant and almost unilateral feedback that nobody understood the terminology for dot board. So we have relabeled that attendance board. And then instead of the small blue and red little pins that use the display under the attendance status, we now simply have an out or an in block. If somebody is in, this little block actually displays green and it says in instead of out. So pretty minor change, but something that we heard quite a significant amount of feedback on. And then, let's see, this is just the external URL that you guys can put onto your tab. So that is really all there is new on the dashboard. You can still edit your tabs as you do today. You can create tabs. You can set up your configurations. We still have the drag and drop functionality as we do today. Nothing new other than, again, the look and feel on this page. So let me jump into a report page. I'll just jump into the employee information page. So this is Kathy Watt's set of employees. This is the redesigned framework which exists all reports. Pretty much the same, whether it's a set of timesheet reports, a set of payroll reports, HR, all have this same framework. So a couple of things to point out on this page is rather than the bottom action bar that we used to have on the bottom of this page where you had your navigation options to go back to the previous page, you had some of your page level save and export actions as well as some report level actions. We've actually broken that bottom bar out into a couple of different areas. So our page level actions are now these blue buttons at the top of the page. View selected employees, hire employees, or going over to the split view, where those were all on the bottom bar, or they're now up at the top of the page. I think you've probably seen this as I've been navigating around. The previous page button has now been moved to the top left-hand corner here, and we've relabeled it back. So it's a little bit more familiar to users. It's similar to the browser back button. It's in a more logical space for them to identify and understand views. Our report level actions are now on the top report bar here. Navigation and pagination, as well as refreshing the data. That's all available to you over here on the left-hand side of the report. Over on the right-hand side are some of the actions that used to be down in the Tools button. We've brought up a level. Here are the default views, the default view as well as any saved views that you have for your report. In the settings drop-down is where you can save your settings or customize your settings and do any of the filter work that you can do currently. The filter drop-down actually opens up the custom filter functionality that, again, was hidden underneath the tool menu. We brought that up a bit. We got some feedback that users weren't even familiar with this functionality, didn't know it existed. So we've raised it up a level so that it's a little bit more apparent to users. You can close that right up if you're not used to using it. Select columns is now its own button. It's not underneath the drop-down. And this is where you can select any of the available columns in the system in this report and be able to add it and customize your report. We've had some feedback on some of the terminology on some of these buttons, so we are still going back and forth a little bit on that, on what exactly we'll call some of these items. So if anybody has feedback on that, certainly let us know. Export is now its own button. So when you click on export, you'll see all of your export options and your deliver to options that you have today. We will be breaking out the print and the Excel export into a separate button. We received that feedback from PCW and from a few other folks. We just haven't gotten that into the development system yet. So you will have a separate print button, which will open up the PDF print file, just a little bit of a shortcut for your users. All of the sorting and grouping functionality is still available to you. The G for grouping, the sorting to sort, ascending or descending is still available, as well as the X to get rid of the column. Those are all pretty much existing as they were today. We actually attempted to do some redesigns, and we kept getting feedback that people really liked how it worked today, that they liked being able to quickly go in and group and move and X just by clicking on those elements right in that top header. So at this point in time, we decided to leave all that functionality as is. Everything within the sorting and filtering drop-downs still exists, and if you want to, you can still pop that open and close to save real estate. The other changes here are the icons. You can see the redesigned icons here. We still have the hover information on them, so if you just hover over the icon, it will tell you what it is. But we did quite a bit of redesign on these icons in order to make them, easily understood by users, a little bit more recognizable than the existing ones are today. Let's see, let me show you our new quick links. So if you all remember, the previous quick link icon was that little green icon with the 3 arrows. And anytime you saw an employee name, you had that little icon and you knew you could click on it and you could navigate to a set of information about that employee. So we still have that functionality. We've just redesigned it a bit so it's a little bit easier to read. So I just clicked on Monique and opened up her employee information quick link tab, and you can see we're actually pulling in her picture here, and then all the other options that we had previously are available to you. So let me just jump into her employee profile and show you what the employee profile looks like now. Let me just maximize all of this. I'm not sure why it was closed up. So on the employee information page, which, as you guys know, is made up of a set of widgets that display that are all customizable and configurable. They have the new widget look and feel applied to them, as well as the cleaner, crisper font, a little bit more breathing room, a little bit easier to see and find the information that you're looking for. All of the functionality remains inside the employee profile. All of the configurations that you guys have across all of your clients still remain. You simply get the new look and feel across all the tabs that you might have for your employee profile. Into HR, all existing there. So let me jump back, and I will open up Monique's timesheet, give you a sneak peek into what her timesheet looks like. So here's Monique's timesheet. As you can see, we have the page level actions again right up here in this blue bar, right in the upper right-hand area, so everybody always knows where to look for it. And we have any table or timesheet functionality is now right there embedded in the timesheet, not broken out into that bottom bar. All the same tabs, all the same functionality you have today. Cost center lookups currently work the way they do now. Another just piece of information, we're actually going to be redesigning the flag. We have the new icon. It just hasn't been pulled into the development system yet. We got quite a bit of feedback that nobody really understood what the flag meant, and nobody really understood that by clicking on it you're actually selecting. So we're actually changing the flag to a blue select button. So now you'll just simply click on the select button, the new cost center gets selected, and you get brought back to the timesheet. Notes work similarly. New pop-up where you can enter in any information and then save and close it. That seems to be it on the timesheet. Let's jump into, let me show you perhaps what a time off request looks like. Leave this page. So here's just an example of what different form pages look like. So you saw the employee profile, you saw the timesheet, and now the time off request. So as you know, many of our pages are built off of these sets of widgets or small controls of information. So the same is true as the time off request page. Obviously, this is configurable. You can choose to show the balances or not. The time off request widget works as it does today. You go in, you still select your time off type, select your day of the week. So updated look and feel here, updated colors, updated fonts, but again, no change to the functionality. I think that is really it in the system. Oh no, I know I wanted to show you the look and feel page. So let's jump over to the system look and feel. So we have a set of updated themes that we've designed, which match the updated look and feel. So the existing look and feel page had many, many, many options. You could configure, you know, your drop-down shadows. You could configure your underline colors, your link colors. So we have streamlined that quite a bit based on the new look and feel, the new visual design. You will still be able to have your custom bar colors for your clients. You can still upload, you know, a custom logo. We will now have a set of themes. Right now we only have a few blue ones, but I'll show you when I jump back into the PowerPoint all the different themes that we'll be enabling. You can select a theme, and then if you want, if you don't like the top bar color that goes with that theme, you can pick one of the customized colors, or if you know the exact text color, you can type that right into this field. We streamlined the font colors, so based on the color you're using in that top bar, we simply have a light color and a dark color, so you don't need to go in and configure the exact color of your font now. Logo images work as they do now. You can import a set of logos and then select them. We have a few new set of configurations that you can do simply because we didn't have these in the system before. And that's the highlight colors. So as you can see in our default theme here, which has the SAS HR colors, we've got the orange start button and the orange highlight on the navigation. And then in the table and widget headers, you can see this yellow. So those can now be customized. And so what we plan on doing when we do the upgrade is we will be making sure to take your logo, we'll take your top bar color, we'll make sure that that comes over, and any of those other configurations that port to the new UI, we'll make sure those come over. We'll actually apply a default sort of look and feel and theme for the font colors and these start and line colors and tabletop border colors, simply because those did not exist before. But you can come in and you can take a look at them, and obviously you can change those if they don't fit. But we will be taking over the top bar color, your logos, as they exist for all your clients currently. Okay, so let's jump back into the PowerPoint, and we'll talk through some dates. So again, just the look and feel customizations. You can see here where we actually had our designers design a much more extensive set of color palettes for you guys to choose from. And these palettes have been designed to work really, really well with the new look and feel and the new visual design. So we're recommending that you guys use these palettes to sort of start from, and then go in and edit any specific colors that your clients may want. But again, those client colors will come over. But we're trying to make the new visual design look as good as it possibly can. So a little bit on timing and some of the specifics. So we kicked development off back in July. We're actively in development still. As I said, that system that you just looked at was a development system that's getting refreshed every day with all the functionality. They're actively in their QAing. We're scheduled to release in November, and we're going to continue to go back to you guys, back to our beta partners and customers, and continue to get feedback as we go along, and be taking in your feedback and iterating on what you guys have seen. We'll have a sandbox available for you guys late October. We're trying to nail down that date, but we're really trying to make sure that QA has had a significant amount of time to go in and make sure it's functioning, and you know there aren't any bugs in there, and that all the new visual design elements are in there before we let you guys go in and start playing with it. But we will have the ability for you guys to be able to go into those sandboxes, into that UAT environment ahead of the release, so that you can see exactly what all of your systems will look like, exactly what all your client systems will look like ahead of the release. That will allow you to take any screenshots or do anything you might want to do ahead of the actual release. The last little bit that I wanted to make sure everybody understood was our updated browser list. We've been sharing this quite frequently across all of our conversations, and we haven't had any issue here. But we have stopped support for some of the older browsers that we had been supporting. Internet Explorer will now be 9, 10, and 11. We will be supporting the 2 most recent stable versions of Firefox and Chrome. And those update so frequently, we haven't heard any significant issues. And Safari will be supporting the latest versions of that on iOS. So I think that's